Hey, what up, what up? Welcome to the channel. I'm Tommy and this is Late Start Classical Guitar. Alright, so in the previous video, I introduced 5 complex pieces, one of which I was going to choose to go through and play in 1 year. So that piece was Asturias.
Gonna do what?
And that's what I kind of did a little bit at the beginning, which was that back and forth between like classical and metal. I was just having some fun, just seeing how that would sound. So that is the piece I chose, and I'm going to do the full classical piece in 1 year. If you can believe that. We'll give it a shot. We'll see what happens. So how did I choose that piece? Well, first of all, I asked ChatGPT for 5 pieces that would be really hard for me to finish in a year, being that I just started playing classical guitar. So if you haven't seen any of the previous videos, I basically have a metal background in guitar, and I've been playing for a long time, and I've never played classical guitar, never even picked one up. And I just wanted to see, can I learn how to play classical guitar and become, good at it at, 64 years old? So that's kind of what this whole channel's about. And also, I would love it if you would, if you would like to learn along with me, to like and subscribe and just check out my progress. And you can see how you do based on, the hours of time that I put in. And I am keeping track of how many hours practice I put in on the classical. And so far, according to my high-tech hour counter, which is this, I have put in 86.5 hours after week 9, and I'm on week 10, and I put in another like 5.5. So about 92 hours total I've put in on the classical guitar. If you want to follow along and judge your practice based on how many hours I put in, you can do that and see if you can do better than me. You probably could, because if you're younger than me, you probably have, your brain probably works better.
He's got good brains.
So why I chose Asturias. So as I said, I got 5 pieces that looked like, it would be really hard for, anybody with my experience to complete in a year. And then I asked ChatGPT, well, kind of rate these and as to what are the chances. So 2 of them, ChatGPT said, there's no way you could do it. And then 2 of them, it said, there's a really good chance, almost for sure that you could do the other 2. And but this one was kind of in the middle. Asturias was the one like in the middle, and I thought this one would be like the hardest one out of the 5. But ChatGPT said you've got a chance. It's an outside chance, so you may or may not be able to do it. And so I said, okay, that sounds good. I want something that is going to be a super big challenge, just so that you can see whether I can do it or whether it's an epic fail. So now I've got other pieces that I'm working on. I'm working on Soar, Opus 35, number 1, and Carulli Waltz. So I did a little bit of those playthroughs in a previous video, and yeah, it wasn't very good because obviously, I think at that point I was only a month in, maybe 45 hours, and I don't think I'm going to be playing these things every time I do a video. That's, I'll play them when I can actually do them very well. So we'll see how long it takes me to get those 2 pieces, and then I'll kind of be adding pieces as I go along to see, because I guess, if you look at it, classical players generally, they have like, I don't know, several pieces that they have in their pocket that they could actually just pick up the guitar and play. And then they've got some pieces that they've played and have retired that if they needed to play them again, they could they could pick them up and practice for a week or two and be good again with those pieces. And then they've got a couple of pieces that they are learning that they want to get complete and ready to play, so that those are in their pocket, and maybe they retire a couple more. So that's kind of what I want to do, only I'm just going to probably maybe have 3 or 4 pieces in my pocket, and I'll make them, I'll retire the easier pieces as I go and put more complicated pieces into the rotation. So that's kind of how I'm going to, approach the rotation part of it, and then I'll record them as I get them to a point where I can play them really well. And that way I'm not wasting your time or wasting my time trying to record a piece that I don't know, and it's going to take me forever to record it. And, nobody wants that. So how am I approaching Asturias? So right now, and you can see I've got like a couple twist ties on my fingers. This is just, I'm trying to get my pinky to cooperate, and it's not. So I decided I'm putting my pinky in prison and handcuffing it with some twist ties so that it cannot fly away on me. And hopefully, this is something I've seen, well, not with twist ties, but with rubber bands. And so I use twist ties because it's way easier to kind of set how tight it is, so you're not it's not over tight. Gives my pinky a little bit of room to move. So this is what I'm going to do, and hopefully this will cure my pinky problem, or get me on the way to curing it from flying away on me. So anyway, right now I know about the first 32 bars or so of Asturias, and obviously not at speed anywhere near, actually. So, but I'm just taking it slow, so that the first part that I'm just going at a real slow pace. So I'm going at about that pace, so that when I get to the part where the triplets kick in, I can somewhat do it. So I'm getting used to that, rolling into that part, and I can play it a little better and a little faster, but only after practicing it for 20 minutes or something. I can start to get it kind of a little bit flowy, but it's a really hard part. And so we'll see how I improve as time goes by on that part. And the rest of it, as I said, I'm just playing super slow so I can get to that transition. There's 2 different things going on. Your left hand has to make this shift to here. Right? Okay. And then your right hand is making a shift from playing with the thumb and the middle finger on the A and the B, and it's shifting to your index and middle finger are on the B and the E, and then you're plucking the E, and actually I think you're supposed to pluck both the E and the A. It's tough to do. So, but if you do these 2 separately, then after a while you'll start to get a little better at it. At least I have. So that just gets that transition going. So I'm getting up to the point where I'm at the, the chord where you're playing the chords. So I'm into that part now. And yeah, that whole thing is very difficult. And we'll see. It's going to take some time to get even kind of to flow at this low speed. So, but I think once I start to get a little bit of flow, then I can kind of start speeding it up gradually. We'll see what happens. Okay, I also picked up a new book. It's Pumping Nylon. This is a really popular book. So with exercises, and it's also got the Giuliani 120 right hand exercises in it, and a bunch of other exercises. I'll put that in the description as well, so you can check that book out. I'm using that along with this book that is already in the description, Solo Guitar. So I'm going through both of these. Lots of good exercises in those books that will hopefully help me to improve a little faster. I might get a teacher. I probably should get one now that I'm starting this Asturias thing. So anyway, I think that's all I have for now. And as always, if you like the content, like and subscribe. And hopefully I will see you in the next one.